we saw this Disco King Mario documentary, man. Like, there's a great documentary on YouTube. I think who did it? It was Beyond Above Media. It's on Disco King Mario, who was the guy that basically connected Bam with. I want to say he connected Bam with, was it Herc? No, he connected Bam with Jazzy J, I believe. But anyway, he's kind of the bridge between Bam and Herc, basically doing the park jams. Had that 21 Days of Summer park jam, and he
What
never
year was
gets
that? Hold
mentioned.
on one second. What year was the 21 Days of Summer? Do you remember?
I think that was 72, 71,
72.
something like that.
71, I think. 71 or
Yeah, something
72.
like that. So, but yeah, he never gets mentioned, and I thought it was a really interesting documentary. What did you take from the documentary?
Um, a lot. I don't even know where to start. So
Busy
can I
Bee
just
was
go
his
ahead?
MC. I mean, I guess maybe we could start there. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I'm a North Carolina native. I want to start from the fact that this guy's from North Carolina.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I'm just going to be very honest and very blatant with what I'm saying. These other guys who are involved as being the creators of hip hop, they're either all really from New York or their family moved to New York from the islands. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find it very telling that the one person who really wasn't from New York is the guy who they conveniently forget to mention who was there before all of them. And I have a big, big problem with that. That is the definition of some crabs in a barrel ass shit to do. Because this guy, by all estimations, because here's what I would say his name is uh, Disco King, right?
Disco King Mario, yeah.
But what I would submit to you, Mike, is that if you really want, and this just based on looking at this, those 21 days of summer is when hip hop started.
Exactly. That's what I took from it too.
That was my main takeaway from it. Those 21 days of summer is when shit changed.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the person responsible for it and nobody else.
He put in the
And
work. We never heard about this 21 Days of Summer.
the fact, and I want to say this, and the fact that these guys have lamented how they don't get the credit that they deserve over all these years, all three of these guys. My respect for them is so small right now for not saying this man's name. I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. And I mean, in the place of Africa, I mean, like, in specifically when it comes to Bambataa, it's like, oh, well, that's all I need to do to go ahead and close that book. I'm
Yeah,
not calling you the author of anything for a multitude of reasons now. Like, I can't find anything about you glowing to say because it appears like everything that you did on every level around that time is wrong because he appears to be the person that gets the most credit. And so that makes him the main perpetuator. He is also the person that benefited the most. He is also the one that has something to do with the separation because the thing with Jazzy J is pretty much where the separation happens, correct?
correct. The one thing I will say about Bam in this situation, it sounds like, because Bam used to carry Disco King Mario's records. They did say in this documentary that Bam was the one that just had a plethora of records, and he was the one that kind of spanned the other genres and brought other genres into that park jam setting. So that's always kind of been Bam's
Right.
claim to fame, the fact that he was just very eclectic with his park jams and his mixes. So he did bring that to the table. But
Right,
once
but he wasn't
again,
first.
no, it wasn't the first. And I don't
Yeah.
understand how a person who's that pivotal, who showed everybody love, sounds like, just gets leapfrogged over. It feels like, yeah, the fact that he is from Carolina and moved to Bronxdale from North Carolina is not a true blue New Yorker or somebody from the islands. Sounds like
So
that
they
was
cut
kind
him
of
out.
held against him.
Yes, so they cut him out on some crabs in a bucket type shit.
That's that's disappointing, and it's disappointing at age 40 and following hip hop all my life and hearing all of these hip hop stories and being I guess, a a self-proclaimed hip hop historian, looking at all these documentaries, that I'm just now hearing these stories. I feel like the people, Herc specifically, Bam, and Flash, should have been held this man's name high. And I get it. He passed away in, I think I want to say 94. He's not really here to tell his story, but it's not on him or the people that were in his neighborhood to tell his story. Shout
No,
out
this
to
is what I
Busy
mean about the
B.
crabs in a barrel
Shout out
mentality.
to
You know what
Busy
they've been
B, though.
concerned with all this time? See, they're the guys that really watched all the other guys make money. Okay?
Yeah.
And all they've been really trying to do, like, they've been more concerned with making their money than being cultural preservers.
Yeah.
I want that to be very, very clear.
Well, that's the thing too, Coach. That's
I don't want to assassinate the whole Zulu nation, but even from watching this documentary, it appears Mario was the one with the real street cred to make this shit happen before all these dudes had the street cred to make it happen. And hip hop is what, Mike, born where?
In the streets.
Who had the street cred and was enforcing and really making all this shit happen. See, that's why I mean, Bambata's like, I got the records. It's like, that's great. But how you, because remember when they're breaking it down, it's like, well, you know, Mario was able to make this shit happen because he had the street cred. You couldn't just pull up on Mario and jack his shit.
And take his shit, yeah, because that was a thing. It was
that
like,
was a thing.
Yeah.
And so what I'm trying to say is the robbing culture was actually keeping somebody from being the guy. He appears to be the first guy with enough street credibility to keep on doing it over and over again, and nobody's touching him.
Yeah.
That is the essence of street cred. What is hip hop about, and where is hip hop from?
In the streets,
so
and that's why he was able to do.
So all these dudes is getting their street cred and getting the cosign to make this stuff happen based on the video from where? Who's okaying this stuff?
No, you're right.
That's the streets. That's hip hop. That's what I'm saying. Between the 21 Days of Summer and the actual street cred, that would make him the founder of hip hop. Hip hop's born in the streets, at the park jams. This is the organizer of the park jams with the street cred.
The only
Bam's
thing he
just
did,
a nigga with records. Bam's just a nigga with records. That's like being a dude that can rock the microphone. It's like you weren't the guy back then. They tried to make their role into the guy. This was the guy.
Yeah. Reggie with the super chat says, I know we're behind on these. So there might be some off-topic stuff. He says, track I was referring to was Don't Hate on Me. Let me get to the other super chats because this is a great conversation. Our man says, Coop, respectfully, you're out of line with the Cannibal Ox statement. Cold Vein is a stellar album. It was one of the best underground albums of the 2000s. Yes.
Just
dope
good.
album. Dope album.
Just good.
Hold on, I think, did I get to all of them? I feel like I might have skipped something. No, that
If you did,
goes
they'll let
boom,
you know.
boom, boom. Let me see. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
Bam was a street legend? Not the way we thought, though, now was it?
I mean, he is a street legend, but again, what does that make Disco King Mario?
That's what I'm saying. The way the story goes, Mike, he piggybacked off this guy, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like the tension between the two projects and the rival projects, he wasn't the one to ease the tension. That was Mario that made that happen. So when it became open, it appears that was because of Mario's street cred, unless the story's getting told wrong to us.
Again,
The
shout
story
out to
doesn't go,
Busy B.
Bam is the one that put it together. The story goes, Mario's the one that put it together.
Shout out
So
to
who
Busy
had the
B.
street cred?
But shout out to Busy B for being on this documentary. It's some very
One of
credible.
them fucking little boys, Mike. We just gonna go ahead and throw that out there too. One of them was actually using it for the good of hip hop. It wasn't sitting up there using it to sit up there and play R. Kelly before R. Kelly up in this motherfucker. But whatever.
Well, it's again, to me, it's just I don't understand how a person that pivotal, not only just in the culture but in individuals' lives, just doesn't get mentioned. I think when it gets problematic is the fact that a lot of how they make money and how they tour depends on or predicates largely on their legacy and the things that they cemented. And it seems like a person was cut out of that so that they could be held as these ambassadors. Like even when they did the what was that magazine cover where it's Bam, Flash, and Herc? That was that the source? Okay, I don't know what year.
It was the perfect time to speak on it.
It was perfect time to speak on it. I'm not sure if he was still alive then, but if not, that was the perfect time to give the proper credit where credit is due. Like, why are we doing that to ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
I'm sorry, I'm not, and this is what I mean. If this is hip hop, I'm giving the dude with the street cred the credit over the guy that was using his street cred to fuck little boys.
Well,
I'm
we're
gonna start
not.
calling
Well,
spade
cool,
a
cool.
spade. No,
Cool.
that's
We're
part
cool,
of it.
cool, cool, cool,
Well,
cool.
because if hip
We're on
hop born in the
YouTube. We're
streets,
not gonna go there.
but look at what a guy is doing with his credibility.
I
You get what
understand
I'm
what you're
saying?
saying. I feel
That
you,
means he
but
doesn't have credible,
cool. I feel
tangible.
you, but
No,
we're.
listen.
No.
That's what you do.
Ho. We're,
That's what you do with your street credibility. What type of credible, tangible values do you really have as a man?
I feel you, man, but we're on YouTube, man. We can do
Oh,
that
that
on
is
like the
right. I'm sorry.
Patreon stuff, and we can't say stuff like that.
Right.
but yeah,
The
man.
nasty bastard seems like you're ready.
But yeah, man. I
Um,
mean, it's just it takes nothing to give people the proper credit where credit's due, and maybe somebody out there who is from those neighborhoods or from that time can maybe shed some light on that. Like, is it because Disco King Mario wasn't from New York? Because really, when I look at it, it feels like a lot of hip hop's influence early on, and I'm from Georgia, comes from Carolina. James Brown's from Carolina. Um, Pigmeat Martin's from Carolina. Even Sha Rock, the first female MC in Funky 4 Plus 1, if I'm not mistaken, she's from North Carolina, moved up to New York. Same thing with
so
Coke La
I'm going to
Rock.
tell you something,
Coke La
Mario.
Rock, who's
I
known
know
as the
about
first
this,
MC, he's from North Carolina.
Mike. I know all these things about Disco Mario because my cousin M6, his name is Mario. He used to tell me, he was like, the nigga who really started hip hop, me and him got the same name, and he's from North Carolina. His name's Disco Mario. He's the real nigga that started all this shit. My cousin Mario, my producer, been telling me this shit my whole life. I just didn't have any. He's literally been telling me this since the early 2000s.
Wow.
Like off some word of mouth shit. It's just like we ain't never watched no YouTube video. So when you sent this to me, I was like, well, damn, that's what Cuz used to talk about because his name was Mario.
That's unfortunate, man. It shouldn't happen like this. It shouldn't happen like this.
Well, here's the thing about it. We have to be honest about how we audit our own culture because if we're not honest about how we audit our own culture, this is what opens up the floodgates for the M&Ms to become problematic to people like a Mike D. You get what I'm saying? Because we're not auditing our own circumstances.
You're right.
Properly and appropriately. And part of auditing it properly and appropriately is not just, refraining from engaging in nefarious homosexual predatory behavior, but also just giving people their credit.
Yeah, just flat out. And I've been kind of going back and forth on these threads with, people from New York, because I'm not from New York. And they're like, I never heard of these people, yada, yada. And it's like, well, that's a shame. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it really is. Like, what's the problem? Like, just be honest and do the research and tell the truth. Because listen, if somebody came to me and was like, yo, Atlanta got crunk from Memphis, I'd be like, yes, we did. And we took bass from Miami.
Right.
That happened. Right. It happened. Yes. I'm not going to sit here and
stole 808s from Miami. Straight up. Everything down here was booty shaking when we were kids.
Yeah. And if somebody were to say, you know what, Outkast on Southern Playlistic, they were kind of running with a hieroglyphics type of flow and some G-Funk, yeah, that happened. Everybody pulls from everything, and I think when it comes to this subject specifically, they want to act like no influences came from anywhere else, and that's not true.
No.
Like,
well, here's what I mean, and I mean, I'm going to say this carefully because it's not a New York thing. This is a territorial thing. If this guy, Disco King Mario, if Disco King Mario was the one who, think about it, had people galvanized with the parties and with the street cred, and cats knew that he wasn't from New York, do you think that they liked that? Or do you think that they envied that and wanted to build their teams up to beat this out-of-towner? Because that's what the fuck the Zulu Nation is to me now. You feel me? The Zulu Nation was literally built to beat this guy. Because he's the one with the cred. That's how it goes. They trying to get their crew and they wait up to match this guy. That's where the Zulu Nation comes from. They needed a crew to fuck with, what's their names? The
Black
Spades. The Black Spades.
Well, I mean, Bam was in the Black Spades.
And hold on, and then that goes back to, what's the record by KRS-One?
What, Self-Destruction?
Jack of Spades, man.
Jack of Spades. Oh. LP with the super chat.
Where's KRS-One from?
The Bronx. And you know what? That's disappointing too. Because KRS is the teacher. I've never heard
And he knows
KRS.
this stuff, Mike. I
He
thought about
knows
him
this
today.
stuff.
He
I've
knows.
never
He
heard
knows all this
KRS
stuff.
speak on Disco King Mario. Now, I could be wrong, and somebody in the chat let me know if I'm wrong. But KRS is the teacher from the Bronx and never speaks on Disco King Mario.
No, he's the one that I probably would indict the most because his nickname is the teacher. He is one of our most intelligent and articulate thinkers. He is one of our greatest MCs. This is a direct line to his neighborhood and to the people that brought him into the game with the Zulu Nation.
Yeah.
And so shame on him for claiming to be such a hip hop historian and not speaking on this. Like he's bigger than Bambataa.
Yeah.
He's bigger than Bam.
He does whole summits and everything and speaking engagements and
But hold on, but you see, speaking, and this is what I mean. Well, speaking on King Disco Mario, will that be going against the Zulu Nation at a time and a point? You feel what I'm saying? So there was probably times during, I guarantee you it's like Jack of Spades could have been like his homage song that he really couldn't pay homage to because of his Zulu Nation ties. That's what I thought of today.
It shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't
Mike,
be.
Did you see? I mean, Mike.
I saw the documentary, yeah.
I know, Mike, you know neighborhoods like that in Atlanta, Mike. I know neighborhoods like that in Charlotte where it's like, no, you can't. No, it's the same. No, don't go. You can't go 15 minutes.
It's literally rewriting history, though. You know what I'm saying? And history should be bigger than any of that stuff that's going on. LP with the super chat said, "Talk your ish, Coop. We got to keep it 1,000 out here." Jay Short with super chat says,
"Is KRS One from the Bronx? Does he have ties to the Zulu Nation? Does he call himself a teacher? Does he not say that he was one of those people that was there in the park jams when hip hop got started in the Bronx?"
He should know about 21 Days of Summer.
Okay, then he know about the 21 Days of Summer. It falls right in his age bracket.
I don't see how anybody wouldn't know about the 21 Days of Summer. Jay Short with the super chat says Carolina and Memphis were black meccas in the 70s. Definitely. LP also says, Coop, YouTube should be showing you love for the algorithm for speaking the truth, not penalizing y'all. Context matters. Bam was a predator of little boys.
They taking 30% too. That's why we got the Patreon show on Monday.
Jay Short with the super chat says some were Prince B from PM Dawn is looking down. Somewhere Prince D from PM Dawn is looking down saying, "I told you so."
But hold on. But what I'm saying is there's so many people, when they talk about hip hop and the start of hip hop who are from the Bronx, talk about all these origins and all these stories. And it's funny how it all circles around New Yorkers and this guy from Evanston, North Carolina is being left out. Don't you think that that's a little problematic?
I think so too. And you know what? To kind of add further to that, when we talk about the creation of graffiti, it seems like Cornbread out of Philadelphia is always left out, and Cornbread was doing graffiti before anybody in 1965. He was even they even wrote about him in Philadelphia's newspaper for vandalism. So they were very well aware of the act of graffiti, and it seems like this person doesn't get credit, possibly because he's not a New Yorker. I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's what it feels like.
Okay, so we're journalists. We do some investigative reporting from time to time. Can you see, here's the thing about investigative reporting. So you have to investigate, but you have to use your instincts and you have to use your common sense.
Right.
Mike, my common sense is telling me, well, there's no viable reason to leave his name out other than that unless you can give me one. You don't have one. Because here's the thing. If you have another one, here's what it's probably going to show. Jealousy, envy, and hate.
Yeah.
They're wrong for this.
It's sad, man. And, you know, again, and the fact that, like my guy always tells me, man, like, people didn't see YouTube coming. People didn't see the internet coming. They thought that they could cover up this stuff forever, and nobody would ever find out. And I'm so glad that we're able to talk to each other and, you know, research and, you know, basically create our own content where people can talk to each other without that mainstream buffer that we always had to, you know, go through. And they thought that this would never see the light of day. They thought this was just going to be like, you know, what your homeboy was telling you, just some word of mouth type shit.
Yeah, no, that was my cousin because his name is Mario.
Your cousin, I'm sorry. Yeah. You know, and man, peace to Disco King Mario, and I want to see some more documentaries while people are still alive and well to tell these stories.
I want to find some more stuff, but first it would be nice if guys like, I don't know, KRS-One, Fab Five Freddy. Don't nobody want to hear what Bam got to say.
But shout out to Busy B though.
As a matter of fact, after this, it's just like everything Bam, Flash, and Herc said to me got like an asterisk by it. It's like, oh, well, I don't know if that really happened. If you was just trying to X another man out of history, I don't even know if that's your shit anymore.
Well, shout out to
You know what I
Jazzy
mean?
J and Busy B and Grand Woods of Theodore. They were a part of the documentary. If you want to check out the documentary, it is on YouTube. It's let's see who did it. It was Beyond Above Media. So Disco King Mario, Beyond Above Media did it. Put that in the search, you'll be able to find it. It's like 30 minutes. But again, you could tell that they did this on an independent level and they really cared about doing it. You know what I'm saying? It was
Just,
put together.
I mean, this is somebody just said this is New York slander. No, it's not New York slander.
Why do anytime when you actually do research,
Right? If this happened anywhere else, you wouldn't say that.
No, anytime that anyone does research and debunks what the traditional thinking or what we've always been told is, people want to say it's slander. It's none of that. It's just actually doing research. That's all that is. It's not slander. And how is it slander to anybody? That the slander is the fact that somebody created something.
Here's the reality of the matter. A man from North Carolina, it appears, invented hip hop in the Bronx. It still happened in the Bronx. It just didn't happen via a New Yorker. Get over it.
And honestly, it takes a collective. It's not no one person who created hip hop per se. He had to have the people around to come to the park jams for it to be a thing. So New York is involved in that.
He had to have the street cred, Mike. Yeah. He had to think about this. The way the documentary goes, it's like, oh, well, he had the women and he had the street cred. And it's like, well, that's what makes him the first motherfucker. Because if he got the women, if he got the street cred and he has the equipment and he pulled up all summer one summer, that would make him the focal point.
He had the idea for the 21
Because everything that we talk about with hip hop, like hip hop has always been about, well, the crowd. It's been about getting the girl. It's been about machoism and being the man. It's been about street credibility. Well, this is pretty much the guy who embodied all of that in the Bronx, and he had the equipment.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story. I mean, it's like, I don't want to tie it up like in a bow because he's from North Carolina, but it's like, you got something better than that?
I mean,
that precedes Bambataa and Herc and Flash?
As Shan said, man, hip hop started out in the park, and he did that 21 days of summer.
That's what I'm saying. If hip hop started out in the park and everybody goes back to these park jams, who's the man?
Again, I think Bronxdale needs to get their proper credit in this situation too. And I obviously, it's not even just a New York thing per se, but Flowers, he was doing this as a DJ and was a renowned DJ out there in New York before King Mario, from what I understand. But what King Mario did was brought it out to the park jams and really doubled down on the park jams, which created that whole wave. And he should get credit for that,
Yeah. It's like, hold on. It's like, when you strike a match, when you strike a match.
Thank you, JC88. He says, I'm from NY and I don't think it's slander. Of course it's not slander. We're just trying to get to the truth, I
mean, Mike, when you strike a match and it sets the whole house on fire, you'd be like, man, how can that fire start from just a match? Because somebody lit it first.
Yeah.
That's how.
He lit the fire.
That's how fire starts.
Yeah.
Somebody has to strike the match and light it first. What happens once that's up to that's up to God and the air and the powers that you get what I'm saying? It's like, but it appears he's the first guy to really strike a match, and that match is the 21 Days of Summer, and it appears he had the ladies on lock, the streets on lock, and the command and the equipment to pull it off. It's just a happenstance that he's not from the Bronx. It still happened in the Bronx. Like, it's still going down that hip hop started in the Bronx. Like, I would still be more proud of that. Be like, no, hip hop still started in the Bronx. It just happened to be a guy from North Carolina that appears to be the guy that lit the match.
And again, it's like no one is minimizing anybody else's impact because it took a collective for this whole thing to take flight. All I'm saying is, throughout history, this man's name should have never been omitted. That's the problem.
Right. Okay, so let's say he's not the guy and he belongs right there next to these guys. Why is he not on the cover of the source? Why are we just hearing this now? Why is Busy B literally on this documentary talking about how the other guys don't shout him out? And he literally said, Bam may have said something a time or two. A time or two, nigga, it's been 40 years. He might have said something a time or two. When? In 80? '83? Because not while I've been alive, Mike, and been able to hear it. I ain't never heard this guy come out of Bam's mouth.
I haven't either. I've listened to all the stories. I mean, I feel like I've seen most of the mainstream documentaries or most of the underground independent documentaries on hip hop. They all tell very similar stories, but his name never comes up. And
No,
yeah,
it's Bam with the culture moment.
right.
It's Herc with the rec room, and it's Flash on the Wheels of Steel. That's how the story gets told, correct?
Correct. Well, I hear Graham Wizard Theodore created the scratch just between him and Flash, and
Flash
that
was
type
better.
of thing. Yeah,
I think that was the thing. It was around the same time, but Flash was better.
yeah. And Flash had the tapes too.
See, that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing about it. There were probably guys that were better than Flash and better than Bam, but what did they have? They had the records.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there were probably guys that was doing the shit that Mario was doing. I hate to say it like this, Mike. It's like, well, you got niggas on the corner that sell drugs, Mike, and then you got niggas that push weight. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That don't pull up on no fucking corner. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, no. There might have been other guys out doing there, but the way this story is looking, like you can even tell from how the women that are partaking in this are talking. It's like, no, he was that dude.
Yeah.
He was that dude, and you can tell.
Yeah. LP with the super chat says they don't show him love because he was a Bama to them.
See? And now we get into it. See, they in the back of their mind, they was all right. Who is this country ass nigga up here running shit?
Yeah.
Right.
Because they did talk about his dialect too, the way he was like, how do you say vicious?
The vicious.
Yeah.
Mike, that's
so so he didn't have the New York slang or any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
When they went vicious, I was like, I know all about that.
Yeah. Lex Diesel with the super chat says, hold on. Let me get to this. Lex Diesel with the super chat says, the point y'all made about rappers' career being over before they truly grow up highlights even more how incredible Nas's current run is. How many other rappers have we seen evolve and stay relevant and still make good music too?
That's what I'm saying. Tribe was born by the time they were 27, 28, 29 on Beats, Rhymes, and Life. By the Love Movement, time the Love Movement happened, it was like, okay, it's like they're done. It's over. It's no more fun.
Man, that says according to history. Yeah, we gotta do some according to hip hop documentaries, man. We gotta do the according to films or whatnot. But yes, this stuff needs to be told and needs to be told correctly. I think it's a shame that we're still in. We're literally not. We're generations past, but these people are alive and well, and this story shouldn't be told so lopsided. It shouldn't be so like this is my parents' generation. Like my mom and dad could have easily grown up in these spots, and this shouldn't be so blurry to people that whole motherfuckers are being left out.
And I'm like about to say that's how it depends on how your generation falls. So when this stuff is going on, like when this stuff is going on between like let's say 71 to 81. My mom is 8, 9 years old in 71. You feel what I'm saying? My mom 8 in 71. You feel what I'm saying? So this ain't even a whole generation removed from me. It's like, no. My mom was a kid when this shit was going on.
In 71, my mom was 12. Yeah.
My mom was 7 going on 8. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these people could easily be like our mothers or fathers.
These are the people that are our parents' age. That's what I'm saying.
This shouldn't be so lopsided. And in the 90s, oh my God, these people were like 30. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Like, what the fuck?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean is that, Mike, these guys, see, you have to understand that by the time these guys were getting to our age, hip-hop, it became a whole nother thing that they even planned on. This was a park thing.
Yeah.
They never thought it was going to turn into a multi-million-dollar industry. Imagine how they felt even seeing, like, when Cool G Rap and Rakim and Slick and those guys pulled up with all these chains and all this designer shit on and getting record deals. It's like Rakim got $1 million from 4th and Broadway. It's like they gave you what?
Right. Or even Run DMC.
These guys couldn't get $10,000. Rakim's out here getting $1 million within 10 years. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, no, don't tell me they didn't do something to them. And then the shit with Biggie and Jay and Nas and Pac and them niggas really started balling and making money.
Even
they
Run
was
DMC.
Out there getting their money.
Even Run DMC. As huge as they were.
Even Run DMC.
Jay Short says, can y'all name a classic song with 3 Jadakiss verses? Is this a trivia?
Why are we going at Kiss? What Kiss do?
Hmm.
Did Kiss do something? I thought about those verses on Put Your Hands Up, though, just off the top of my head.
Well, let's just say classic. By the way, did you like that Rakim and Ghost song that Flex played?
You mean Raekwon and Ghost? Ray and Ghost?
I said Rakim. Yeah, Raekwon and Ghost.
It's Ray and Ghost. You heard what the back and forth is like. It's
Crazy.
Ray and Ghost.
Their back and forth is only second to Jada and Styles.
But they're just more entertaining than those guys. So
Yeah.
how about this?
They're better
Kiss,
than them. Yeah.
Kiss and Styles. I love Kiss. I told you, Mike. Like Ghost is better than all of them, and Ray and Kiss is damn near a wash. And nothing against Styles. It's just Styles is the fourth man on this very, very, very high totem pole.
Yeah.
And when Ghost and Ray get together, you're hearing two of the best 15 MCs of all time. Rap. Every time they get together, Mike, that's why I keep trying to tell you. If you have Ghost high, you cannot have Ghost this high and have Ray somewhere back there. And every time they get together, that's the evidence.
You got MGM as their best back and forth, right?
It's best back and forth ever.
What's second? What's their second best back and forth?
Oh shit, Mike, there's a lot. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like I don't know.
I like them on the Hilton. I don't know if they were back and forth.
I'm cool with the Hilton. I was thinking because sometimes their back and forth is just one picking up off the other, like 260 on Iron Man or Ray and Ghost United on Fish Scale. That's what I mean. No, they got stuff where they just pick up off of each other. It's seamless. Like on Ray and Ghost United, like Ray is telling a story and Ghost just picks the story off and weaves it into his story.
He did that on the Hilton too.
Doing that, Mike. Kiss and Styles do not do that when they pick up off each other. Ray was telling one story about how he had to check this dude and how he ended up at the car dealership. The dude at the car dealership's a Wu-Tang fan. And Ghost goes into the story about how he knows the other guy.
Yeah.
They got stuff, man.
Willard Winston with the super chat says, how y'all feel about Jada, A Boogie, and Fabio, I guess Fabio's New York song? Jada was the highlight of that song.
Probably, but I haven't heard it.
I ain't heard that song. I got to check that out. Yeah, I think that's about it, man. Got to let
I like Jada By Your Side. Damian Harris put Jada By Your Side. That's classic Three Kiss verses. That record. By Your Side's one of his best records.
By Your Side got overshadowed by Wouldn't Get Far.
Okay, so By Your Side is the type of record, production-wise, that fits him vocally perfect. For what his voice is and what his voice does, he needs that cool shit like that. Like, he can do all that. We know he can do all, like, that classic East Coast grimy shit like that. Like, that's that level for him. It's like when he does that, it sounds effortless. And he sounds his best when he sounds effortless.
How do you feel about By Your Side? Not By Your Side. We just talked about, Kiss of Death.
Not as big on it as everybody else.
I like Kiss of Death. I like when he comes with the aggressive, but By Your Side's probably better. By Your Side's dope. I actually want to hear that tonight.
Let's think about that. I might ride to that when I get in the whip.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we covered pretty much everything, man. It was kind of a light Friday when it comes to music, but we had some really good discussions.